We're back for day two. Me and August Rosamar will be taking you through the action today here in day two of the first qualifier of the year as part of the FIFA 21 Global Series. Aga, what a day we had yesterday. We're back again for the PlayStation side of things. Now a console you're much more familiar with. And what a game we've got to start things off with today.
Yeah, definitely. That was a thriller. And in the end, I thought that Cosmo would take the win, but Oli Bolly just
congratulations to Oli Bolly. He will be in the
mentality.
competition still. Cosimo will see him hopefully in qualifier 2. Remember, there's 5 qualifiers this year as part of that FIFA 21 Global Series. Let's turn our attentions to this game now. It's going to be Dux Gaming's Adriman up against Prinsipe. I mean, you don't normally see a player, Aga, stay at an esports organisation for as long as Prinsipe has. Since that FIFA 17 run where he was a champion in Madrid, he has not left Team A because he's been with them for the whole journey. But first and foremost, let's have a quick look at this team from Dux Gaming Adriman. I mean, just a quick look at it, just to the side of me here, you're seeing a number of icons in there. There are some special team restrictions up for grabs that a lot of players will need to follow, and we'll make sure they do follow so that they can play at the level that they want to play. And we'll have a quick look at Prinsipe's team also here to my side. It's going to be ter Stegen in goal. Remember that restriction does not affect your goalkeeper of choice. It's going to be Jimenez at the back. Jan Cuadrado, we saw him pop up quite a few times yesterday. And going forward off that, a couple of cheeky red picks in there. Zaha and Goretzka on the bench. He's got Lozano. Looks like he's starting the game. Ruud Gullit, Neymar, Mbappe, as expected. And Valverde, one of those up-and-coming players this year. A couple of special items. Makes him a very usable CDM. But no, I just wanted to have a word on both of these two players. You know, Prinsipe's been at an esports organisation for so long that he has. On the other side of that, for Adriman, he was actually at SV2 Esports. I was actually lucky enough to commentate on him in the FIFA 20 season. A couple of those Foothead Cups. But you look at the roster change that Dux Gaming have had. They picked up Zizinho, fresh off Benfica. Yes, he's not in that room behind those guys, obviously, because he's out in Brazil. Gravison is there, though. Gravison, one of those Spaniards that's been involved for so long in the competitive FIFA scene. And, I mean, Aga, to add on to that, what are you making of this time? Well, I was having a little scroll, I should say, through Adriman's social media. I think it was last weekend. He checked off his 10th 30-0 of the year. I know that's a big talking point at the moment. People hitting 30-0. It's going on these mad runs on Weekend League. But this man's been doing it across a number of different consoles. And the consistency to make that happen. How difficult is that, Aga? I know Weekend League is a completely different kettle of fish to playing in a tournament like this, to playing in long qualifiers and events. But to be that consistent and to hit those 30-0s out the park week after week, that's got to be tough.
It's really tough also because you play different kind of play styles and you need to be able to adapt or play very balanced and have a
and what a start to this game. Speaking of Adriman and saying how good he is, killing Mbappe to get the score sheet underway. 3 minutes into the time, we said how good this man is. And you often speak about muscle memory in FIFA. You heard it there for BMG Lefty. Yesterday, he may have just become a champion. He may have just bagged himself some serious prize earnings. But he said, you know what? I might have tonight off, but I'll be back on Weekend League tomorrow. I'll be straight back to the grind. Is there going to be an instant reply from Prinsipe? There is. I mean, we thought the first game was an absolute thriller. Strap yourselves in for this one. Because Cristiano Ronaldo, 3 minutes later, ensures that he gets this game all square. Chance for R9 if he can try and find a way through there. But, you know, looking at both of these years, In FIFA 20, Prinsipe, it was a really quiet FIFA 19 from him. FIFA 20, he made one really good run in the competitive year. And if you can remember, for Champions Cup, Paris, I believe, was one of our sort of last LAN events. He made an unbelievable run there. It was a top 4 finish for him. That booked himself some great Global Series points. And on top of that, 15th, he finished in the leaderboard, Prinsipe. It's like you can hear me talking about him straight down the other end. He's back in front, 2-1 in the first leg. It's a fantastic start. It's Lozano of all people. That's one thing that Prinsipe has always done differently in competitive FIFA. If you can think back to the days of FIFA 17 when he was rocking the likes of Manolas, Roger Nainggolan, there's unfamiliar names that you would not expect to see in a handful of pros teams. That is what Prinsipe is about. He plays his own meta. He creates his own meta. And now he leads by 2-1 after 17 minutes in this tie. Strap yourselves in, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got 2 legs of this. What a start to this tie. As I said, this is the PlayStation 4 qualifier #1 here in Europe. Some serious money up for grabs. By the end of play today, someone will be walking away with just the cheeky $15,000 alongside 1,500 Global Series ranking points. You don't know what points do. Of course, they earn you prizes, but more importantly, they get you to the playoffs or to the FIFA E-World Cup Grand Finals. Chance for Prinsipe now to find his way back into the tie. And I believe August Rosemeyer is going to be just subbing out for the moment, and in he comes again. Richard Buckley. Rich, we're back for another game, and 3 goals in 25 minutes. We're on for another thriller here.
Well. Fancy seeing us two commentating, Brandon. Again, 2 games in a row. But yeah, unbelievable game thus far. I mean, the big thing coming into this match was the quality of Adriman. I've heard a lot about him. I know that he's an unbelievable FIFA player. But can he perform in the big LAN events? And I think the answer is yes.
I mean, as we said, you know, we were lucky enough to commentate on a handful of those Foothead Cups, Richard, when the season was going through a little bit of a rechange. We saw both of these 2 players actually feature in those tournaments. It was when they played in different times, actually. They didn't actually match up in the same tournament. Otherwise, I would have said we could have actually seen a previous matchup between these 2, but they've never played before. If you can see behind Ducks, Adriman, Richard, there's a couple of familiar faces there, and probably one of the biggest names in Spanish FIFA esports history. Alongside, I'm sure, Afonso Ramos. If you're a hardcore FIFA esports fan, that man deserves a mention. And here's Gravison. I'm sure he'll be adding his knowledge to Adriman.
One big thing that I would like to point out, we saw Prinsipe now using Jimenez, the rule breaker, at centre-back. Cosme, from earlier, Cosimo as well, Italian player, used Jimenez at centre-back. We start to see these tendencies from different regions using similar players.
Here is Adriman now. Cristiano Ronaldo scored down the other end for team makers. Prinsipe, Heung-min Son, happy to interchange.
It's got to be a pen.
Back to Paul Pogba. No, the referee says we're going to play on. We'll talk about Prinsipe's team in just a second, Richard, because as I was alluding to, FIFA 17, he sort of played his own team. He didn't follow the crowd. He didn't play with all the players that everybody typically uses. And with these current restrictions we've got in front of us, Rich, is that you sort of can have your own creativity in teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Manolas and Nainggolan being the 2 big players. You've seen Lozano, you've seen Jimenez starting here. Ronaldo looking to get back in the game. Woo.
It's another great save from Prinsipe. As we touched upon, Cosimo out of the tournament, the only Italian left. His makers, Prinsipe, half a drag back. Adriman well defended by Juan Cuadrado. Had to time that tackle well, and that's exactly what makers Prinsipe was able to do. Mbappe. Back to Ronaldo. A couple of step-overs. Little La Croqueta. It's perfect from Adriman.
Fantastic goal just before half-time as well. The perfect time to score for Adriman. It's a player that we don't tend to see used too often, record breaker Mbappe. But that big shooting boost is so clutch in the final third. You see Prinsipe, big puff of the cheeks. He knows that potentially his, I don't want to say typical defensive playstyle, but the way that he likes playing FIFA, sort of dominating possession, defending immaculately, might not work here because Adriman looks so dangerous in the attacking third.
And that's the first half of 4 completed in this tie. And I mean, there'll be people at home watching now. It'll be your first time watching competitive FIFA or FIFA esports. You'll be thinking, you know, what is it that makes these players so good? It's moments like that where you have to be creative. You have to think outside the box. You saw the La Croqueta into the half-hearted chance there from Mbappe. It's moments like that that separate you from the average player to the elite. And we're back underway for the second half here. 2-2, 4 goals already between these two. In your loser bracket quarter-final, winner plays against Oli Bolli. Can it be an all-makers matchup? Only time will tell. Early start potentially here, Lozano. Not one of those red picks that players are, of course, featuring in their own teams. If you're lucky from the weekend league on rewards day, to pack a decent one, why not add it into your team?
I mean, look, he saves coins, doesn't it, at the end of the day as well? If you can, you see he's got Hullet in the team. That's quite a big purchase. It's a premium purchase, shall I say. You might have to use a red pick here or there to get that cost of the team down. They are using their own squads, these players.
I mean, especially if you're a player like Oli Bolli, who we just saw, Rich. He's got a 9 in the team. That man's got a hefty price tag on him. And what, he had 3 red picks around him?
Yeah, Bruno, Rashford and Gomez. Can we just talk about that look as well for a second? I know you've had some decent red look this year as well. We both got Gomez. What a pass.
What a pass. This could be cheeky chip, cheeky ball roll. And that's another prime example of those moments where you have to think outside the box. You have to be unpredictable. And Duck's game in Adriman, he's just in a groove at the moment. He's in a groove on FIFA 21, whether it's on Weekend League or whether it's in qualifiers. He's found his rhythm. And the Spaniard, another new Spaniard we must add, popping out and saying hello to the competitive FIFA, saying, I'm here for the FIFA 21 season and I want to accumulate as many global series points as possible here.
If you're not scoring from dribbling inside the box with the bridge touch, step overs, that's the other way. That's a real successful way of scoring goals in FIFA 21 right there. The long through ball, almost hopeful through ball into the final third. You saw a perfect example of it there. What a 20-30 yard pass into Mbappe. And then from there, it's all about the composure of finishing.
See Prinsipe just sort of playing a really high line. And so Mbappe was able just to pick him off. Looking for another one. It's that through ball again. It's still Adriman in possession. Mbappe, drop of the shoulder, a couple of step overs. Will be well read by Rafael Varane. Back to Andre ter Stegen.
Oh!
You've got
for a second.
You've got to be careful there.
Heart in mouth right there for Prinsipe. You're seeing a couple of changes that we're seeing from Adriman right now in that 4-4-2. Good game so far, Brandon. 3-2, maybe a little bit more open than I thought we might actually see.
Oh, definitely. I think after we saw Cosimo against Oli Bolli, it was a 1-goal game in the first leg. Here it's a definite change of scenery in this one. Certainly more end-to-end. All the substitutions are coming on now. Remember, with those restrictions, it was Gerard Deulofeu, Richard, yesterday, who was a hero at times for a couple of plays. He makes his way onto the field again.
Yeah, Gerard Deulofeu, Rashford and also Renato Sanchez, 3 real clutch players.
Prinsipe's trying to push that ball into the feet of someone in the box. It's Mbappe that's there. Still Ruud Hullet. Gets dispossessed by a fresh
Look at
Renato Sanchez straight off the bench. One of those players that's sort of gone under the radar a little bit this year.
It's just so meta. He offers you pretty much everything. Imagine Ruud Hullet, but like 6 inches shorter. That's Renato Sanchez's inform.
I'm going to say, look at them next to each other in CDMs. They're like 2 brothers. Similar hairstyles.
Play very similar as well.
Fortunately not the pass he would have wanted, though. Renato Sanchez, the lost little man. Long ball forward. I'll tell you what, these long through balls, they're very dangerous, aren't they? Especially when you have got pacey options, such as Marcus Rashford. Ruud Gullit, Gerard Deulofeu, is he going to be the hero again? It's back to Deulofeu. A deflected shot from the Spaniard goes out for a corner, and into the pause menu will go again. Currently a 4-4-2 for Ducks Gaming's Adriman, but he's not happy with something.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford being introduced as a left striker here. And it looks like it's going to be Mbappe brought onto the right side of midfield. For me there, I think Prinsipe is just, he's got a little bit confused on what he wants to do. He had a chance to shoot. He's then tried playing the extra pass, as you say. He's tried playing that one more to get the 100% chance. And as it's come to Gerard Deulofeu, the sort of pace of the attack's been drained a little bit. I think that's why he couldn't get a shot away at target.
17 minutes left of our first game here. 3-2. Thanks, Adriman leads currently in the tie. Are we going to be going into that second leg all square? Prinsipe trying to get that ball into Mbappe. Still half a chance. Ronaldo just snatched at the chance. He goes up for a goal kick in the end, and then we've had the soul. Get us back underway.
Out of all of the players you expect to clutch up for Prinsipe right there, you give the ball to Cristiano Ronaldo, you're putting your house on him to score.
I mean, you at least think to hit the target, Richard. He put it wide. Here's Mbappe. Doing really well. Adriman. Marcus Rashford! And that's a 2-goal cushion. It's been reinstated into this game for the first time in the series. And there's just something different about Adriman this year. We saw him a couple of times on FIFA 20, but he never looked this good.
And even the 85 Marcus Rashford off of the bench is a real dangerous player to be faced up against. Great finish from Rashford. Scoop turn onto his left foot, right foot. It does not matter for Marcus Rashford.
What a ball. What a ball. I just couldn't angle his run. You can see the frustration from Prinsipe, which you fully understand. It's a great through ball, but Cristiano Ronaldo just didn't really arc his run that the Makers FIFA Pro was after. 6 minutes left. We'll take a breather alongside both of these two players. 6 goals in one leg of FIFA. I mean, we saw plenty of goals yesterday over on the Xbox, but certainly even more shared over here on PlayStation. Cristiano Ronaldo,
chance.
Lovely little accelerated fake shot. There's your half drag back. Well read by Ferland Mendy. Still, the attack isn't fully dealt with. It will be Valverde. Ronaldo into Mbappe. Important goal for Prinsipe, that.
And you just see him there, just saying to himself, calm down. There's still a long way to go in this game, but a double step over onto Mbappe's left foot, who is always going to be finishing on the angle. Big goal in the complexion of this series.
To be honest, I don't think we'll see much more, Richard, in leg number 1. 7 goals. It's going to be 4-3 to Ducks Gaming's Adriman. Added time of just a minute. No real time at all. Could be a little bit of time for Prinsipe to get that ball forward, but he's got to move it quick. We've already played a minute. Referee will let it play on. He's gone back inside, which is kind of risky, referee. Ooh. That should do us for leg 1, innit? Will do us for leg 1 there between these two, Richard. 7 goals between the two, and at the moment, just a goal to separate them. What a game.
Yeah, fantastic game. I think that goal at the end of the first leg there gave Prinsipe a lot of confidence. It gave him a lot to sort of believe in. 2-goal deficit going into the second leg of a tie is a big ask, but a 1-goal deficit, it's very doable.
I mean, speaking of both of these teams that these guys do represent, one thing that I've loved that EA Sports have done is that they've added esports kits into FIFA Ultimate Team, Richard. I know that Team Makers kit's in the game, and if you're at home and you fancy one of these kits to rock in Weekend League, log into FIFA Ultimate Team before December 16th at 11 PM GMT to get these 9 great esports kits, including, believe it or not, Ducks Gaming, the shirt you can just see to the right of the screen. I think it's the coach of Ducks Gaming that he is wearing. Richard, favourite kit this year? And I had a couple of conversations with Ryan about it yesterday. Which is your favourite?
I'm a big fan of the R10 kit. I really like the R10 kit with the black with the gold strip as well. But also the Tundra kit is beautiful. It's like a Maldives ocean. Do you know what I mean? It's got greens and blues, turquoise. It just takes me to a nice, warm, sunny place.
It's quite jazzy, isn't it? That kit from Tundra.
Very jazzy.
I mean, there's loads of different ones, but that's what makes them all unique at the end of the day. Make sure, as you said before, the 16th of December, 11 p.m. GMT. Get yourself a kit, rock it in Weekend League, and of course, show your support to one of these esports organisations. Richard, we're about to go into the second leg here. Remember, the winner of this plays against Oli Bolly in that loser bracket semi-final. We could be looking at an all-team makers matchup if Prinsipe was to turn this game around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, Team Makers, if you're sort of one of the owners or a manager at Team Makers, you're rubbing your hands. I mean, 2 players out of 1,024 in the top 6 at a latter stage qualifier. That's incredibly impressive. And you've got to be saying to both of those 2 players, Prinsipe, who has been successful for Team Makers for a number of years, one of the longest standing players at an esports organisation, and also the recruitment to get Oli Bolly on board, very, very successful. Tipping my hat to Team Makers.
I just wanted to pick your brains on that, Richard, because both of these organisations we're looking at, Ducks Gaming and Makers, they've both done business before FIFA 21. They've both picked up some serious names. You look at Ducks Gaming, they added Adriman to their roster, and they picked up Zezinho, the only South American FUT Champions Cup winner, onto their roster. Then you flip onto the other side, you're looking at Ethan Higgins, you're looking at Oli Bolly. There's lots of investment going on for both of these organisations.
Absolutely, it's really impressive, and I like to see it as well from esports organisations and from football clubs, strengthening their teams coming into FIFA 21.
Well, we're back underway now. It will be Makers Prinsipe looking to create the first real chance of the game, kicking from left to right. Ronaldo into Hulle, it's a all square within minutes, let alone seconds in this second leg. It's what we've come to expect, and right now we're living it. 4-4 in aggregate. It's all to play for here on the PlayStation.
Ruud Gullit, a lot of people regard him as the go-to icon, the go-to man in a FIFA 21 squad. Across, not even FIFA 21, across any FUT squad. You might be able to replace or maybe mimic an R9 or mimic a different icon, a Rio Ferdinand. You can't mimic Gullit.
Oh, and you can't mimic Adriman as well in the final third, Richard, because he is liquid there. Every single time he gets on the box. I've not seen a style of that from Gravison for a while too. He looked laser focused, and he's not even playing.
Yeah, Adriman so focused in right now. I think you can tell how much this Ducks Gaming are a team. There's a real family bond there between this squad.
It's a perfect response though from Adriman. After conceding so early on, you don't want to throw any of that hard work that he's been creating in leg number 1. Perfect response. Cristiano Ronaldo getting that goal. It's a 4-4-2. I mean, we'll talk about formations in a second, Richard, because it's still such a debate. Which is your perfect formation? You like to use ball into the box. The keeper, if you're going to come out, you've got to claim it. More contrary to Stegen there.
Stuck in no man's land.
Just didn't want to claim it at all. Again, sort of half-heartedly comes out. Maybe you back the defender to do the job. But, I mean, formation-wise this year, Richard, for many years, it was always 4-2-3-1, nothing else and nothing less. This year, it's a little bit more of a mix. I mean, players still enjoy with those sort of 2 CDMs is a big factor in any team. It's a staple for them, hence why you see your CDM partnerships in there. We'll talk about that in just a second as this chance comes in from Heung-min Song. He looks to drill it across and not come any further than that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even Son being introduced there on the pitch, a real sort of different player. We're not really seeing much of Son. Formations, 4-2-3-1 is always viable. 4-4-2 is a favourite for the pros as well, but any formation that you really want to use that you feel as though you can get a good success rate with and you can get familiar with is viable in FIFA 21. I think it's more of the personnel that are important rather than the formation.
Well, I mean, you know, look at the 4-4-2 that's being used by Adriman. He's got 2 players in there that you would sort of label box-to-box midfielders, players that can defend and players that can get forward. And I know Aggie was touching on it yesterday in terms of when you see a 4-2-3-1 sometimes where you've got 2 CDMs, it's more of the case you only care about one player that you know is going to go forward. If you've got a Vieira, he's going to be the player that sits back, or if you've got someone such as Pogba next to him, you know he's going to be that player to get forward. With Adriman in that 4-4-2, he's got Gullit and Pogba, 2 players that can easily get forward and can easily get back and try and create chances. This ball does bounce around the box eventually. With Valverde and Prinsipe that gets the job done.
After what seemed like a real breakneck speed start to this game, sort of quietened down, slowed down a little bit now between Prinsipe and Adriman. 2 goals inside the first 8 minutes and nothing since then to really write home about. I think Prinsipe, the main thing, just trying to keep calm, keep his composure in this matchup.
Well, third of the second leg has been played. Adriman still leads by 5 goals to 4. Remember, you lose this, you're out. You're out the tournament. It's as simple as that. And your attentions will be on qualifier number 2 in January. That's really nice for Mbappe. Good turn of pace. This is where Adriman's really dangerous in the box, where he can start linking up skills, can start chaining together the drag backs, the fakes, the cancels, whatever he wants to create. Why is this so hard to defend?
You see whenever it gets it in the final third, it's always looking for something different, whether it's a couple of step overs, whether it's a ball roll and a scoop turn, or just a straight cross into the box, as he's done a couple of times already. He's very sort of unique in his attacking. He's not going down one particular road. We saw Oli Bolly earlier. He might have been relying a little bit too heavily on the through balls, or just looking for the same attack over and over again. Adriman, he's got different tools.
Prinsipe looking to find a way back into the tie, looking for that 5th goal. Certainly everybody getting their money's worth at the moment. 9 goals. We've still got another 45 minutes to play here. And if Prinsipe gets this back, this has got extra time written all over it, in all honesty. Bullet. Again, trying to just force that ball. Adriman's looking for that every single time. If there's a through ball on, he'll try and play it. He'll take his chance. Couple of step overs from the Parisian forward. Mbappe there doesn't come to anything in the end. Prinsipe are more than happy just to keep possession at the moment. He knows he has to be patient until that perfect chance does arise. Really good time, another run there from Neymar. Even better defending from Ferland Mendy.
Offside.
Just offside, just a whisker offside.
Yeah, I thought just as he played that sort of through ball into Neymar, I don't think he got back on side before the pass was played. But coming into half-time, no added time going to be additional from the 4th official. So that will do us, Brendan. A real sort of tight first half, you would say. Possession dominated by Prinsipe, but Adriman's looked dangerous on the counter.
Yeah, yes, he looks very dangerous indeed. I mean, as I said, it was the best response that he could have honestly had, Richard, in terms of conceding that early on to the tie against Prinsipe, and then just the instant response from Cristiano Ronaldo in the box is exactly what he needed, just to put himself back in front by a goal and to ensure that the pressure was back on the Italian of Prinsipe. Player that has got such a huge following in Italy. No wonder team makers have kept hold of him since FIFA 17, and it's a little bit of a rarity, Richard, where you see a player stay at an esports organisation or a football club for so long. I mean, the only other player you compare to that really is sort of like a Danny Hackerberg of Ajax. There's not many players that have had huge contract spells of organisations.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just goes to show, as you said, the worth of Prinsipe to team makers, and also the growth that he's had, not only in competing but in social media, in content creation. It's been a win-win for both himself, being with team makers, and also team makers really broadening their horizons through Prinsipe. Everything has sort of come from Principe's success. The more success Prinsipe has, the more players they can sign, the more players that can really sort of get into this brand. I think it's a real good success.
Ronaldo literally dancing on the ball for Prinsipe. Does get penalised. We'll go back down the other end. So pause in from Prinsipe just 7 minutes after the restart in this second half. I don't know what he's seen, or maybe what he wants to do. Prinsipe still hunting for that goal.
Chance.
Fantastic ball that is from Ferland Mendy, just round the corner. Him and Rashford linking up very well. This is where Prinsipe can get cooking now in the box. Does really well. Oh, went for that little chip up. I don't know if he meant it or not.
I don't think he meant it at all. He was doing the step overs and maybe his thumb slipped off the right stick and accidentally pressed in the right stick and gave him the chip up animation. You can see he's annoyed by that. 4-4-2 from Prinsipe as well here. Hervin Lozano going to be making way for Gerard Delafeu. Only the one substitution used. I mean, with 30 minutes left on the clock.
Just to put your mind as well, Richard. I mean, he's the only player I've seen use Jimenez at the back. I know he's obviously looking to link across Juan Cuadrado in that scenario, but another interesting pick that.
Yeah, I mean, Cosimo used him earlier, and I think it's certainly an Italian sort of style of play. If Jimenez works, you throw Jimenez in there, then you just need a La Liga centre mid. Earlier, Cosimo used Marcos Llorente's inform. Here, it's inform Valverde for Prinsipe.
Again, another viable option that can work as a really good CDM for you. Or a box-to-box midfielder, however you choose to use him. A third left off this tie. 5-4, Ducks Gaming's Adriman leads us his first outing as a Ducks Gaming player. Around the corner, Prinsipe, it's Rashford, great block. From the defender at the back there, keeping the pressure on though, is Prinsipe. He knows that time's running out, he's got to get a goal off. Adriman can find a second on this counter-attack. I think we could be looking at another Italian falling out the tournament in the latter stages. Doesn't come to anything on that occasion though from Adriman.
Yeah, he did really well sort of plan his defensive selection there, did Prinsipe, because there's a lot of bodies being thrown forward for the Italian.
It's another great ball around the corner. Min Son. Be just to switch it all the way over. Renato Sanchez and Hullet linking up. Well defended. Juan Cuadrado. Right place, right time. From the Colombian fullback. Watch that through ball on that far left-hand side there for Prinsipe. Didn't bite into the trap. You can tell with these white shirts going forward. Oh, Ronaldo. Doing very well. Will get fouled, you'd think. No, ref. Like he was just pushed off the ball. Cristiano Ronaldo, still this chance is alive. Back to Mbappe. Still Mbappe now. It's got to be composed. He was just off balance.
Couldn't really do much else there. He was dancing his way through. He went for the near post shot. Another fantastic save from Adriman's keeper.
Valverde into Mbappe. This is where Prinsipe's dangerous. The step overs. What a save, Edwin van der Sar.
Oh! What a save from Van der Sar. That is absolutely outrageous from Edwin van der Sar. What a save. That's one of those, when you're pressing circle and you're powering up the shoot button, you're already thinking, right, I'm going to press L1 and L1, I'm going to skip my replay, we're going to get back into the game. That is a 99.9% chance of scoring, and Edwin van der Sar at his near post with a strong left hand. What a save. I thought that were a certain goal.
I mean, just look at Prinsipe, though, in those areas. I know it's frustration for him now because he's thinking, how on earth has Edwin van der Sar just clawed that over the bar? Just faintest of touches from literally the Flying Dutchman. And here we go. Prinsipe still knocking on the door of Adriman. Will he let him in? Will he get a chance? Got to be patient. Hullet in a battle for Renato Sanchez. It's Hullet that comes out the stronger of the two. That's that little dink up again. If that's a mistake, I don't know. He had better ideas. Prinsipe, long ball forward. It's well won in the air by Varane, and still in possession is Prinsipe. You can feel the press that Adriman is currently under. Mbappe, you can just see him teeing up that through ball. Look at Ronaldo on the edge of the box. Just watch that run. Can he find a gap in between the two centre-backs? You can just see Prinsipe. There it is. Just got his eye on Ronaldo. Well played, Joe Gomez, matching him up.
I think Prinsipe on that occasion with the right stick, he might have been going for the chip up and then the chip shot into the back post. I've seen it circulating on social media. That shot type and that shot sort of selection being very strong. Desperate times call for desperate measures with 10 minutes left to go to save your tournament life.
The onside he is. Adriman with that ball towards the goal, and it will be a goal. It was one of those chances, he just caught it at a defensive line, a couple of seconds too far. And Adriman looks like, for me, Richard, will be booking a place in that loser bracket semi-final. Prinsipe has had to throw everything forward. Naturally, there was going to be gaps that was going to appear at the back, and Marcus Rashford adding a 2-goal deficit.
something had to give. It would have been Prinsipe scoring a goal or Adriman getting him on the counter. And in the end, it was a second option there. And this could be game, set and match. Marcus Rashford scooped it inside, looks for the finesse. Just staying with a great save. But Adriman, he's played this game perfectly, Brandon.
He really has, Richard. He's been absolutely superb. I mean, when he's had to ride the waves of pressure, Richard, he's done so well to do it. In terms of defensively, the player switching. It's been a perfect performance when he's needed to get goals and hold on to that lead. I mean, surprise, surprise, Richard. New FIFA, new names appear. We saw that yesterday over on the Xbox, here on the PlayStation. It's no different. There's a reason why those sign-ups just keep getting bigger and bigger. Chance round the back for Marcus Rashford. Just to add another goal onto the perfect performance. Goes down to ground. Referee says play on, and that will do us here. It looks like it's going to be another Italian that falls out of the top 6. And it will be Ducks Gaming's Adriman, who writes himself into a top 4 finish guaranteed for him. Another great performance here, Richard.